Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful story about something I think we've all felt at some point, that sting of betrayal, the heat of anger, and maybe most importantly, how to find a way to freedom.
So let's just start with a question. I want you to really think about this for a second. What is the true cost of holding on to a grudge? I mean, beyond just feeling mad, what's the real emotional weight you pay for carrying that resentment around with you day in and day out? And that question, it really gets to the heart of our first section here, the weight of betrayal. When someone hurts us, really hurts us, our gut reaction is often to just hold on to that pain. It almost feels like we're protecting ourselves or, holding them accountable in our own heads. But here's what's actually happening. It becomes this heavy, invisible burden that you just carry everywhere. The thing that happened, it's over. It's in the past. But the resentment, man, that sticks around and it messes with your peace, your happiness. It just holds you back. And that's the problem we're going to unpack. So, how do we get a better handle on this idea? Well, there's this incredible story that gets right to the point. It's known as the parable of the coal. Okay, so picture this. The story starts with a person who is just completely consumed by a painful betrayal. They can't stop thinking about it, they're replaying it over and over, and that anger and hurt is just growing, kind of poisoning everything. So one day, they go looking for advice from a wise teacher. But instead of getting some, comforting words, the teacher just hands them a single, red-hot, glowing piece of coal. It's searing hot, incredibly painful to hold.
And then the teacher gives them this instruction: throw this at the enemy who wronged you. Now, to the person suffering, this must sound like the perfect solution, right? Finally, a chance to get revenge, to make the other person feel the same pain.
But here's the catch. And this is really the whole point of the story. They can't just throw it right away. They have to hold on to that burning coal, carry it around, waiting for the absolute perfect moment to get their revenge. And this brings us to the central question of this whole thing. While this person is walking around totally obsessed with finding their enemy, waiting for that perfect shot, who is actually getting burned? Think about it. The person who wronged them is probably just off living their life, completely unaware of this whole revenge plot. The only person who's guaranteed to be in constant pain is the one holding the coal. The bottom line is this: you are the one getting burned while you're waiting to throw it.
So let's be super clear about what we're talking about here. The burning coal, it isn't the betrayal itself. That's the thing that happened. The coal is the anger and the resentment that you choose to carry with you afterwards. It's that active decision to keep holding the pain. And this just shows you the huge disconnect at the center of holding a grudge. The goal, what you think you're doing, is hurting them. But the reality? The only person you are consistently, definitely hurting is yourself. Okay, so if holding on to the coal is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it sounds almost ridiculously simple, but it's so profound. The answer is dropping the coal. And this is where we can completely reframe what forgiveness even means. It's not some gift you're giving to the person who hurt you. Forget that. Think of it like this. Forgiveness is the act of dropping the coal to save yourself from the heat. It is 100% an act of self-preservation. So, how do we actually do this? Well, you can think of it in 3 steps. First, you have to acknowledge the burn. You got to admit to yourself that carrying this anger around is hurting you. Second, you have to make a conscious choice to let it go. It's a decision. And third, you just release the burden. You open your hand and let that coal fall. All of this builds up to the single most important takeaway from this whole thing. If you remember one thing, I want it to be this: forgiveness is for you. And let's be crystal clear here. Dropping the coal does not, I repeat, does not mean you're excusing what they did or saying it was okay. Not at all. It's a deeply personal act that is all about one thing: ending your own suffering. And the best part? The effect is immediate. It's not something you have to wait for. There's this quote that just says it all. The very moment you drop the coal, you stop the burning. The relief starts right then and there. So, as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with this final thought, a personal question. Thinking about any of those burning coals you might be carrying around in your own life, are you ready to open your hand?